Good evening, and welcome to the Arts Commission regular meeting of October 5th, 2023. We call the meeting to order at 6 p.m., and I'd invite all of you to rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, Ms. Fatua, will you call the roll, please?
All right. Commissioner Mann? Here. Commissioner Lucia?
Present.
Commissioner Zuckerman?
Present.
Commissioner Ochoa?
Present.
Commissioner Derderian?
Present.
Vice Chair Wonderchuk?
Present.
Chair Ashendorf?
Present.
We have quorum.
All right, thank you very much. The first item on tonight's agenda is a presentation, and I'd like to ask Ms. Lorette Garner if you will lead us in this evening's presentation.
Yes, thank you, Chair Ashendorf. We are getting Molly set up with her PowerPoint right now. We have Molly Ponton from Pacific Chorale, who's going to present about the organization and a little bit about the Arts Grant project they received funding for.
Wonderful, thank you. And would you like the mic on for the podium, Ms. Fatua? All right, thank you. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you for your patience. That's why in classical music we haven't made any technological progress in like 500 years. It's easier this way. I have some hard copy brochures too, which I'm going to hand to Monique right there. Thank you for your time tonight. My name is Molly Busick-Ponton, and I'm the Vice President and the Director of Education for Pacific Chorale. And I'm so glad to be here tonight to speak to the Arts Commission, which has been a generous funder of our Choral Festival program, and tell you what you may not know about what I think is one of the best kept secrets in Orange County. I think some of you, I know some of you know us because some of you are friends, and it's really nice to see other new friends. So Pacific Chorale has been in business for 55 years. We started as the Irvine Master Chorale at UCI and in 1968, and we're still here. And we're actually the 7th largest choir by budget size in the entire United States. So in that respect, we operate on the same model as a symphony orchestra. And we're just underneath in those tiers, just underneath the LA Master Chorale, places like the Handel and Haydn Society and the Chicago Symphony Chorus. And so I think a lot of people in Orange County don't know that. But we're a pretty big deal in the choral field. It's like being choral famous, classical music famous, right? Our vision is to inspire love of choral music and lifelong learning, and to that end, we dedicate 10% of our annual budget to education and community programming. A very brief history. We started in 1968 in someone's living room as the Irvine Community Chorus. This is our very first music director, Maurice Allard, said, if 35 people come to the auditions, I'll take all 35. 110 people lined up outside in 1968, and the Irvine Community Chorus was born. In 1972, they rebranded to the Irvine Master Chorale after they left UCI to find bigger and kind of more generous rehearsal. I don't know if any of you have been around. This woman on my right, your right, is Jan Landstrom, who has been kind of a Newport, Costa Mesa stalwart. She's 92 now. She's still going. She's amazing. So I love this picture next to our first music director, actually our second music director for 48 years by the time he retired. This is John Alexander. We rebranded to Pacific Chorale to match Pacific Symphony and Pacific Opera when the Segerstrom Center was opened in, you guys would probably know better than I would, 1986. We were originally over at the big Segerstrom Hall, and we moved to the concert hall when it opened. And this is our music director now. Some of you may know him. This is Rob Eistad. He's also the director of choral studies up at Cal State Fullerton. And so that's a really lovely and productive partnership that keeps kind of that flow straight through our education programs to our littlest ones, to our college students, to our adult symphonic choir. Pacific Chorale is actually a hybrid pro-volunteer chorus, and what that means is that if you look up in the choral terrace there, about 150 of our members are purely volunteers, and they volunteer more than 1,000 hours per person every year to rehearsals and concerts with Pacific Chorale, and we have to do this for our auditors every year. It's $555,000 of cash services if we had to pay cash for these services. And we do pay cash for these services because for every symphonic choir that you see seated in those tiers there, 26 to 32 of them are paid pro freelancers, most of them living in the Orange County area. A lot of them come from Costa Mesa. So we take very seriously our place in the arts ecosystem, especially after COVID, and making sure that we are paying a living wage so that our artists can afford to stay in Orange County. We perform with Pacific Symphony, so we are two separate arts organizations as two separate business entities, but we are kind of twins in that way. So when Pacific Symphony needs a really good chorus, they hire us, and when we need a really good orchestra, we hire them, and we all perform in Segerstrom Concert Hall right across the road there. And it's a very productive partnership, and Carl St. Clair loves the choral symphonic literature and repertoire, so that has been an amazing partnership during his tenure here. We also are kind of the on-call expert choir for anyone who comes through who needs a chorus, and we have become the on-call choir at the Hollywood Bowl. And when the LA Philharmonic 3 years ago needed 3 choirs, not 1 but 3, to do Mahler's Symphony No. 8, which is the Symphony of 1,000 for those of you who are familiar with classical music, that calls for something like 800 musicians, which we jammed on the stage in Disney Hall, and we actually won a Grammy for that. So collectively, the LA Philharmonic, LA Master Chorale, Pacific Chorale, LA Children's Chorus, and the National Children's Chorus won the Grammy for Best Choral Performance for 2021. So we're pretty excited about that. We just got back this summer, these are not the pictures from it, but from a European tour. So we tour about every 5 years. We've toured Europe, South America, Asia. There are great stories about touring in Estonia when the Berlin Wall was falling, which sounds like it was amazing. And we just finished a concert tour of Austria, Germany, and England this summer, where we took 81 singers and 50 guests with us to sing in places like Salzburg Cathedral, and the Sheldonian Theater, where they told us that Haydn had originally stood in the same spot and conducted, which was amazing. Remember, these are all mostly volunteer singers. People have joined Pacific Chorale. I think our longest person who is still singing with us has been in the choir for, I think, 49 years. And that's just because many of them who had been with us for all 55 years are starting to age out and pass away, unfortunately. But this is like a lifestyle for these people. I saw a car on my way into an event the other day that has a license plate holder that says, "I can't, I have Pacific Chorale," which I think is really lovely. So they're rehearsing at least once and sometimes twice a week. And during a concert week, that's sometimes 5 to 8 services between rehearsals and performances in a week. For example, our opening night is this Saturday, so they're on stage at Segerstrom Hall as we speak for their 4th rehearsal of the week. It's a really, really amazing commitment of this community, and I would say that about 80% of them are Orange County local. All of them are obviously local enough. A lot come from South LA County, Long Beach, that area. Some come from as far away as Hemet, Temecula. We have several who drive in from Murrieta. And it's because where else can you have a day job as a regular professional, right? And still sing with Gustavo Dudamel in your free time? Where else do you get the opportunity to do that? So it's pretty amazing. As I said, we operate on the same model as a symphony orchestra, which is to say we have a fully professionalized staff, and to that end, we offer education, music education programs. And that's kind of unique among choirs, which tend to be community or already school-based. So we're right now in 3 elementary schools in Garden Grove. Actually, I love that picture that's at the top left of your screen, because that is a school that's near and dear to all of our hearts. That's Pomona Elementary, right across the road. I think they came and sang, it was the city council. They sang right there at the city council several years ago. But we offer community connections. When opportunities arise, as you all know, we've sung at the Snoopy House so many times. We love the Snoopy. I came today and I was disappointed that there was no Snoopy House. We have sung at the funeral services for Officer Nick Vila last year. Again, the memorial services for the mass shooting down in Laguna Niguel. And so all of these community connections where you need a voice and where music is really the only expression of that, Pacific Chorale is there. These guys are my favorite. Pacific Chorale Academy is our elementary school program. This is offered for free to kids in elementary school in grades 1 through 6. Like I said, we are in 3 schools in Garden Grove right now in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club of Garden Grove. And one thing that we noticed is that if they're getting arts opportunities at all, mostly they're not in singing. We are so obsessed with band. Why are we so obsessed with band, you guys? And also one of the other things we noticed is that we have such a focus on music participation in grades 4 through 6, because that's what's in our LCAPs, right? That you don't have kids who are in TK and K and 1 participating in music. And singing, I mean, they can be successful right away. Who has teeny kids in this room? Anyone? Have you ever met a teeny kid who doesn't want to sing? I have yet to. I've never met a little kid who's not a natural singer. So it's a great way to get those little ones kind of creating art and getting into music from the outset. And that way, when they get to those instrumental programs when they're older, they can already keep a steady beat, read music, all of these things. We offer a high school program in collaboration with Cal State Fullerton. As I mentioned, Rob Eistad, our artistic director, is the director of choral activities up there. And so they noticed quite some time ago that the kids that they were seeing at Cal State Fullerton were getting boxed out of summer enrichment by price and logistics. So a lot of kids can't afford to go up to Idlewild or up to Arrow Bear or be gone for a whole 2, 6, 8 week summer program because they have caregiving duties and work and family responsibilities. And so we started this day camp format program in response to that. And about 75% of the kids attend this camp on financial aid to make sure that they can go. And so they're coming from low-income schools in Orange County and South LA County, and again from the Inland Empire. We have teachers spending their summer, a week in their summer, driving their kids in from Norco, because it's really a remarkable program and it's super fun. We also offer a free ticketing program at the Segerstrom Center. We don't ever want price to be a barrier. We know there are lots of reasons that people don't come to concerts. One of them that we can solve is money. So we offer free tickets to any high school choral program in Orange County and also to social service partners. And all they have to do is sign up, and now, thanks to technology, it's kind of seamless. Thank you, Internet. And they can come to our concerts and they can bring family. It's intended to serve students, but also their caregivers, their siblings, because it should be a family thing. So anybody who wants to attend a Pacific Chorale concert can. Then this is the program that you all at the Arts Commission funded this year. This is an amazing program because acknowledging that big kids like to sing too, like adults like to do things too. So we spend so much of our energy offering educational things to kids, and then like you graduate from college and what? You don't want to do fun things anymore? You absolutely do. So the Summer Choral Festival is for any singer who can get here to sing with Pacific Chorale on stage at the Segerstrom Center under the baton of Rob Eistad. So you can see that picture on the left. We have put as many as 420 singers on the stage at Segerstrom Concert Hall. That was no mean feat. And so every year, it's a 3-day festival. People sign up. There's no audition. There's no nothing. You show up on Friday, we have rehearsal. Saturday, we have 2 rehearsals. Sunday, we have a dress rehearsal. Sunday night, we have a free performance. And what makes that possible is obviously there are amazing singers in this county, but 100 Pacific Chorale singers, 300 community singers, our music director, amazing hall with amazing acoustics. Imagine the opportunity to sing there after you've been singing in school gyms and, you know, lesser venues that are not built for acoustics like that. People schedule their vacations to come to Costa Mesa every year to do this. They have been calling me already since August about what next year's dates are because they're scheduling their travel plans around it. This year we had people from 7 different states. And we had 3 siblings. We have like a Von Trapp family who brought in 3 of their siblings from Germany just to sing Schubert with us this summer. So it's really, really amazing. And we are sincerely grateful to the Arts Commission for their funding for this. The concert is free. The participation in the choir is low cost. We never want price to be a barrier, and the only way that that works is through generous grant and foundation funding. And so we're extremely, extremely grateful to you for that. That's just the big picture of all the fun things that we do. And I'd like to invite you personally to our opening night, which is this Saturday night at Segerstrom Concert Hall. We're doing a really cool project, which I don't know if there are any film buffs on the council. I'm not one, so I had to educate myself. The Passion of Joan of Arc is one of AFI's top 100 films. It's a silent film, and it's acknowledged by film people who know as the greatest silent film of all time. How do you make a judgment such as that? So we're showing the film on an 18-foot screen, probably it's the second biggest screen you're ever going to see in Segerstrom Concert Hall. And Richard Einhorn has written a score that specifically goes with this silent film. So it's a choral orchestral form score that's meant to be played simultaneously with the silent film. And so we are premiering that in Orange County on Saturday night, 7:30. You should come. It's going to be, I can't say it's going to be really fun because it's Joan of Arc. But it is going to be really moving and really powerful and really amazing. And I would love to see many of you there. So that is Pacific Chorale in a nutshell. Thank you so much for your support directly of us and your support of the arts in Costa Mesa and in Southern California and in Orange County in general. I'm here for questions if anybody has any questions, and otherwise I hope that I see you all soon.
Molly, thank you so much. I have goosebumps. You exude energy, and I could almost hear the music. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And we're so pleased that you could come back and share this with us. Commission, any comments? Yes, please, Vice Chair.
Yes, it was just, you made it so exciting just hearing about everything that the Pacific Chorale is doing, and many things I had no idea about, especially with how they began and the expansion that took place. So thank you. And my question to you is, how many more schools are you going to expand to?
Oh my gosh, Deborah, you are definitely the one to ask that. I'm going to say as many as we can fund and as many as we can staff. Actually, with all of the ELOP money coming down the pipeline, the funding is not the primary problem. The primary problem is finding qualified teaching artists, and we are committed to sending in high-quality teaching artists so that these kids have a really great experience with their first experience with singing was not, under the tutelage of somebody who, let's face it, we were all not great when we were younger teachers. So we are up for expansion as far as our resources allow.
Thank you. Any other commissioners?
Yes.
Yes,
I'm so
please.
glad you mentioned the ELOP funding because I think that that's really important for Pacific Chorale to set your sights on. And I just want to thank you for an incredible presentation. It's really touching the work that you're doing in the community,
Thank you.
particularly starting in our schools, because if you get kids to love arts and love singing from an early age, they become lifelong arts lovers and advocates.
Agreed.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, and we hope we see you back again.
Thanks, Charlie.
Well, that sets us off on a good tone, I must say. I don't see anyone in the public, but Ms. Fatua, is anyone online as we open up public comment?
There are currently no public members on Zoom.
All right, then we'll close public comment at this time, and we will move to commissioner comments, and let's start with Commissioner Mann and then go down the dais to the left.
I'm going to hold off my comments till later. Thank you.
All right. Ms. Vice Chair.
I had the opportunity this past weekend on Sunday to visit the Orange County Children's Book Festival, which took place at OCC. And if you aren't aware of it or familiar, every first Sunday, I believe, of October, they hold this wonderful book fair, which is known for having about 10,000 people that come through, reading books, and have movie stars and people reading their children's books that they've written. So it was a wonderful experience, and I just encourage everyone to put that on their radar for the Orange County Children's Book Festival in October.
Thank you. Commissioner Zuckerman. Commissioner Ochoa.
It was an honor and privilege to be one of the jurors of this year's Art Venture exhibition. My co-juror and I enjoyed looking at all the artwork. It will be an excellent showcase reflective of our community. And I invite the public and our commissioners to attend. It's going to be an exciting day, October 28th. Big thanks to Ms. Gardner, who I can't see, Megan, and the staff for all their hard work and magic. And if you're an exhibiting artist or just art curious, please say hello. I'd love to engage with you. And please tell me about the loved ones and your ofrendas. I would love to hear about that, and I'll tell you about mine.
Commissioner Derderian. All right, I have a few comments. First, I'd like to share with my fellow commissioners that I did get personal thank yous from artist Levi Ponce and Cheryl White Cotton, who presented at our last meeting, and they were very grateful to the time we afforded them and the opportunity to share their vision for future murals in our city. Also, thank you to the staff for Hispanic Cultural Event. It was really wonderfully done with great music and a lot of fun, so look for that, I hope, again next year. I'd like to acknowledge Tatiana, staff member Tatiana Madrid, who is responsible for putting together a special art event, if you will. Access Costa Mesa will present a Wicked Dance on October 27th, and that's an all abilities-friendly, accessible dance party with costumes and a DJ. So we're really trying to demonstrate how we can reach everyone through the arts. Looking forward to that event on October 27th. And also on Sunday, if you get an opportunity, another different kind of event at the OC Fairgrounds, Heroes Halls will be presenting a Jewish American Medal of Honor recognizing recipients and a former Holocaust survivor. So that starts on Sunday, and then it goes through the rest of the month. And a shameless plug, I don't know if any of you've seen the Orange Coast magazine, but it's all about the arts. And so if you get an opportunity, we are covered quite nicely in the coast with Costa Mesa. So thank you very much. The next item on our agenda is old business. If we could have a motion to approve the minutes from September 7th.
I will make that motion.
And is there a second?
I think I hit the motion,
I'll
so,
second the motion.
yeah, thank you, sorry. No.
I didn't do it right.
There we go. All right, call for the question.
Motion carries 7-0 to approve September 7th, 2023 Arts Commission minutes.
Thank you very much. The next item on this evening's agenda is new business, item number 1, murals on public property review. Ms. Garner?
Thank you, Chair Ashendorf. Appreciate the introduction with this. So not surprisingly, we just went over murals on private property. So I'm bringing kind of little pieces of what will be a larger document moving forward for the city. So this one is, obviously there's a few differences with this one, and I added a couple examples from different cities, Culver City and Laguna Beach. A couple of reasons why I added those two in particular. Obviously I wanted them to be somewhat local to us, but I also wanted you all to kind of be able to familiarize yourself with many examples of cities, kind of comparable sizes and area, and you can kind of see what everyone's doing because they're all varied and unique. And so as we're starting this process fresh, kind of with a foundation for public art in the city, I would love us to just kind of think about what's out there and what's going to work for Costa Mesa. So the Culver City directly mentions the artist selection panel and the RFQ and RFP process for the city and in their city ordinances, and it also includes a maintenance plan in those highlighted areas that I attached. Laguna Beach has a policy document that references art in public places city ordinances, and I've highlighted some of the areas in there too to kind of that relate to murals on public property. And the thing about Laguna Beach that I liked was that they do mention, which we mentioned for murals on private property, they do mention the Visual Artists' Rights Act and the California Preservation Act as well. They acknowledged that that was something that needed to be kind of addressed with some of these projects. So this document that I added for tonight's agenda it lays out a process for temporary art, or more specifically murals on public property. The city can curate the content of murals and or any public art on city and public property, which is different from private. Obviously, it's a big distinction. So the RFQ and the RFP process allows for community input and how this content is curated around the city, kind of moving forward. So this process does follow kind of general best practices for commissioning public art, and a lot of this is referenced in Americans for the Arts. I don't know if any of you look at that website, but it's a great tool for public art especially, and I know that they're kind of re-strategizing and they really focus on public art in general for their organization. So the process that is outlined specifically here in this document will be similar to when the city commissions permanent public art. So I just wanted to call out that difference, the temporary and permanent, and that's kind of how I will be referencing things moving forward. The difference being the temporary or shorter term projects like murals, things that can kind of be revamped more frequently than permanent, which is more a sculpture that kind of lives longer and usually has a higher price tag. So that is a factor too. So, and then moving forward, this is specifically for murals on public property, and permanent public art will have a similar commissioning process, but with some differences perhaps with, depending on the price tags, like the CIP, the CIP processes that we have to go with public works may be different. We may add in departments and different details. So I'll kind of bring that back to that process. And also I wanted to highlight that typically the city's not required to go out to bid or even have an RFQ, RFP process for any project under $25,000. I just want to let you all know that, but it may be in the future that anything related to public art would be an exception to this rule, or that the processes for this might be considered on a case-by-case basis based on the kind of value of the project. So just wanted to kind of let you all know that that's the city's limit, $25,000. Is when you have any project over that, you go out to bid, or you do a call for artists, request for proposals, or qualifications. So that's my my long introduction. So I just kind of wanted to open up the floor to all of the commissioners if they had any questions or comments for this process or things that they wanted to add.
All right. Can we start the discussion? Any comments currently? Yes, please, Commissioner Derderian.
Well, first, I just want to say thank you for presenting this. I thought the overview was fantastic and really impressive stuff. Really excited about it all. There in evaluating and selecting public art under number 2, the public art panel, it mentions 5 or 7 member panels. And I see obviously, city staff, or rather, there's 6 bullet points and you say at least 2 professional artists. So that would obviously make up a 7-person panel. But I was curious what a 5-person panel would consist of.
We can decide this.
Okay, great.
So, I mean, this is kind of just something that I've seen other cities do. Like, for example, for the city of Carlsbad, when I worked there, they had a big public art project for one of their fire stations. And they had this kind of review panel, and they had on there, they had the fire chief, because it was, it was his fire station. They had an artist, they had a commissioner, an arts commissioner, and then I think they had couple other staffers. But I think that group was only 5. So this one does say 7. This is just from the Art and Public Places report that we brought forward as a suggestion, but open to thoughts and ideas about the number.
Great. Okay, I was just curious on that. And then the other kind of larger point I wanted to raise to you as well as to the fellow commissioners to get their thoughts on is I know we use a lot of language in this, which I think is wonderful, about early public participation, getting feedback, and of course within this art panel, there's a handful of representatives of neighborhoods or local businesses and nonprofits, which again, wonderful. And at the bottom of that page 2 of this document, the last sentence says the proposals may be publicly displayed for community viewing and response. So I don't know if it would cause too much trouble, perhaps, in the process, but I would be in favor, at least open and suggesting here, to adding then on page 3 as one of the points, criteria of evaluation, to have something like public approval, and maybe that would just be posting the RFPs at that point, whether it's 1 or 3 per artist of the semifinalists, online and allowing for public comment. And of course, that wouldn't be a deciding factor necessarily for the panel, but one of the criteria in which they would consider. I just thought that would be a wonderful way to include that, and of course encourage that public participation in choosing a piece of art that will affect their daily lives. Are there any thoughts? I don't know. I want to step back from that. That was my last question. I'd love to hear from others on that too.
I agree with Commissioner Derderian. It's great to have community engagement. So I agree with your points.
Yes, Commissioner Zuckerman.
So I might have a slightly contrarian perspective on this. I do think that when art is in a public place and it is potentially impacting someone's, community, right? Like if it is somewhere that's mandatory that people have to go, like a courthouse or a hospital, then I think that there's different criteria as opposed to like when it's out in the public realm and people have optionality, like if they don't like something, they can, turn left instead of turning right or something like that. And so I think that there should be different standards for where the art is placed based on the community involvement. Because sometimes, when you open it up to have too many people's opinions, then you end up with something that's not, that pleases everyone, and then it's often like not very exciting or dynamic because it's super hard for everyone to agree. I mean, like even when we're trying to decide, like if we're ordering food family style, right? Like for everyone to be happy with, the menu, you end up with like a lot of kind of, more banal stuff. So, it's not, I hope that we can have a criteria for the selection that is thoughtful enough to be able to give guidance to the city, and then open enough to not make sure that the final product is so watered down. And I mean, it's a complicated and nuanced process, and it's just worth I think spending enough time talking about the definitions of any of the different criterias as well. So, like, what does it mean to be a professional artist? What does it mean to be an educator or a historian? Are you asking for people's CVs? Do they need to have worked at, something which, anyway, not to belabor the point, but you understand, right? Because if you have a professional artist, so does that mean that they've exhibited in the public space themselves, or does that mean that they're, that they support themselves by, selling art, or, what's the definition? So some of these, I think, could be dug into a little bit more.
Thank you. I do agree with you, Commissioner, on identifying and clarifying these descriptions. That will help us in that process, most definitely. Anyone else? A comment, Ms. Garner, it was actually stunning to see in the Culver City document historically that it took them 35 years to get to where they were. So, we may beat them in the process. I'm hopeful that we will be moving along a little bit more quickly. I did have a question on your point on selection process, stage 2, the receiving $700 to $1,500 for the artists. That's on page 2. And I was curious, is that when we move forward next year and are ready to engage in this kind of activity, will those dollars be already established in our city arts budget?
So actually, we kind of, can I just be honest? We meant to take that out, actually, the amounts.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Really, because it'll depend on the project cost and price tag. So whenever you commission something, whether, if we have like a larger sculptural project, let's say, for example, the fee that they'll get will be based, usually it's a percentage of the full cost of the full thing. So if it's a $200,000 project, maybe you pay, 5% of that for the proposal, for them to mock something up, because you want to pay artists for their time. So I think that'll definitely be a case-by-case basis, that kind of monetary value. Yeah.
Okay.
Just to kind of underscore that, you get much better quality submissions when you're paying artists for their time. So it's a really great early investment in the project.
The other question I have for you has to do with, I think it was in the Laguna Beach policies about cataloging things in the life of, conducting a formal conservation survey of the collection and development and full maintenance plan. And I think this is something that we've discussed previously about making sure that the art we currently have, that's currently within existence on walls, are being cataloged, and that will be transparent so that the community will know where these are and how we can make sure that they're taken care of, whether it's 5 years or 3 years, or we're not quite sure where we are with some of our murals.
Chair Ashendorf, did you have a question, or you want me to?
No, I just wanted to make that, because we look at, for example, the mural that was put up on Baker Avenue as an example. How long has that been there? Who will take care of it? When will it be?
Yes, and that's something that's definitely on my radar. I would love to do a full kind of survey of what we have, what's public, what's private, and, Travel Costa Mesa does have pretty robust lists, but I would love to collaborate with them on how we can kind of get that together and have the city involved in, cataloging that. And then also, I will say, we're hoping moving forward with Tessa, having that program and software will kind of log things for us for public record and be digitized in a kind of natural way. But that's just moving forward. It doesn't address any of the stuff that we already have. So yes, on my mind, definitely.
Perfect. Any other? Yes.
I have a comment and then a question as it pertains to item 2 on the evaluation portion. I did want to, I agree with Commissioner Zuckerman's note about defining what a professional artist is. I have a question. who is going to select the public art panel? Is that something that's done by city staff? Okay.
Yes, staff will do that.
Okay. That wasn't, it wasn't clear to me when I was reading this who
Okay.
would select. And I don't know, is this on an ad hoc basis, like when there is one project, or is this a continuing panel that will be utilized for all murals
Yeah.
that we're evaluating, or do we put together a new panel for each project?
That's a great question. I would say there would be a separate panel for separate projects because you'll have different constituents that want to weigh in. Like I mentioned, the fire station project, like you would want staff that's related to that building, or so it'll definitely change, yeah, from project to project.
Thank you for the clarification.
Uh-huh.
Seeing no other comments currently, Ms. Fatua, is there anyone in the public on Zoom who would like to address this item on the agenda?
Currently, there are no Zoom members.
All right, thank you very much. Then, if there are no other comments, would you like a recommendation to just incorporate the comments that were made by the commission this evening? All right, then I would move to do so. Is there a second?
Sure, I'll second.
Thank you. We have it.
Motion carries 7-0 with the recommendations from the commission.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Fatua, and thank you very much. We look forward to the next step in the process. I assume that means we might be getting more information next month. All right. The next item on the agenda this evening is monthly reports. Ms. Garner.
Thank you, Chair Ashendorf. Yes, so the Arts and Culture Staff Report, October 5th. The art crawl experience, we are currently full, and I have a wait list of 3, so I'm excited that we filled that one, and I'm really excited for this one. This should be a good one. Let's see. Arts grants, as you all just heard from Molly from Pacific Corral. Next month, we will have another arts grant presentation from another, I think it's Costa Mesa High School. We'll come back and the band boosters and talk about their arts grants. And then I'm hoping to bring back in December a full report of like the data from the final reports from the organizations who received the arts grants. So Art Venture is in full swing. We have a few weeks until it starts on October 28th. And I just wanted to bring to everyone's attention, we do have a People's Choice Award this year. And so I posted that a few days ago. We already have like over 600 votes, like separate people, separate emails, separate votes. So people are interested, and we don't have the artwork up in person yet. That'll be on the 27th, and I will have an in-person ballot system for a couple of days before the award ceremony. But we do have it up on the website with images of the artwork, the titles of the artwork and the artists, so people can go online and fill out a quick Google form and vote for their favorite artwork. So we'll probably have quite a few votes by October 28th, just throwing that out there. But if you know anyone who wants to vote, encourage them to go to our website. And then
Sorry, not to interrupt you, but can I ask a question about that?
Sure.
So are we capturing those emails?
Yes.
Okay.
We are.
Because that is super valuable.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yes. My thoughts too. So, those are interested arts, participants. So I think it'll be great to kind of see how many we get at the very end. So we'll make an announcement at the award ceremony for Art Venture. And I will be sending out an invitation to the Arts Commission and the City Council for the actual award ceremony on October 28th. So you should receive that from me soon, and just let me know if you'd like to attend. We'd love to have all the arts commissioners there.
And specific to that, I know you said that there is pre-registration for the event. Will people be turned away at the door if they haven't registered?
We have advertised it as registration-based, so I'd like to keep it registration-based, and we'd like to kind of keep it at a certain capacity.
Perfect.
So I'm not encouraging walk-ins.
Yeah.
But if we can, and there's people that don't come, we can try and capture some of that information too. Others? Okay. And free park performances, just a few things about that. We had the Hispanic Heritage Month celebration, and the performers were fantastic. There's a couple videos that our Costa Mesa TV team made. I can play them if you want, but you can. Do you want to see them? I think it's like 5 minutes. We don't have to watch the whole thing. No, is that okay? Okay, so we had Inca the Peruvian ensemble, and then we had a mariachi band, Los Santaneros, I think is their name. And also I put up there was Martin. He's going to be performing on October 28th for the Community Arts Day for Art Venture. And so there's a video on there I'll let you watch on your own if you want. They did a full interview with him as an artist, and it's really interesting. So that's why I put that one on there. And then Also, I'll just, as part of Free Park Performances, we're doing quite a few performances on October 28th. So we'll have a couple indoor performances with the art exhibition, and then we'll do some outdoor ones on the stage, the Lions Park event lawn. And then public art, we have the butterflies created for the butterfly garden, and we're hoping to install those the end of October or early November, maybe, probably. He's nodding. So we're excited to see that come to fruition as well. And that should do it for my arts and culture staff report.
Thank you, Lorette. We know you and your staff have been very busy, and we'll be working many long hours over the course of the next several weeks. So this is with great gratitude from all of us. Thank you. Now, additional comments, staff. Ms. Villaseñor.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to give Lorette her kudos. I think we've said this more than enough times. She's a one-man art show for the city right now. We have gotten her, I think, a part-timer that's 15 hours a week or at most, I think. And Ashley definitely helps supplement with some of the admin work. But Lorette is just a gem for the arts in the city of Costa Mesa, and I just want to continually recognize her and the work that she's doing. So,
Thank you. All right, now additional comments. Any other staff comments?
I have comments as well.
Yes, please.
Again, Lorette, thank you so much, because I know this was the first time the city has done a Hispanic Heritage Month, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yes, it is, and
yes.
that's huge, and it
Yeah.
was very successful from what you've showed us, and there's still some more to come. So thank you for all of your hard work.
All right, final comments, Commissioner Mann?
I'm just going to say I'm super impressed, Lorette. I mean, and everybody and all of you on here. This is a really great looking arts and culture staff report, and it's just filled to the brim with art. And I'm really excited for the art crawl. That's going to be my jam. And I'm registered, ready to go. And but I'm really happy, and I can't wait to do this. Check out the the People's Choice Awards. I want to see who wins. That sounds like so much fun. Anyways, thank you, all of you.
All right, anyone else? Yes, Commissioner Zuckerman.
Thank you. So I just wanted to acknowledge that the Orange County Museum of Art is celebrating its first anniversary this weekend. 1 year. We have been open to the public on Sunday and have served at this point over 263,000 visitors, which is amazing. And, Orange County visits, Costa Mesa visits, but people come from all over the world as well. And I'm really proud that Costa Mesa is the city of the arts and that the Orange County Museum of Art is located there. And to just direct people to the website, because we're doing programs starting on Sunday through the following Sunday, including our first Spanish language program on Sunday the 15th. And also something that I keep talking about because I'm excited about it, which is to bring your pet to the museum outside of the museum on Friday from 3 to 6 for portraits of people with their pets inspired by the Alice Neal show. So, yeah. 3 to 6. Thank you.
And congratulations to you, Commissioner Zuckerman. You have brought so much not only to our commission, but to our community. And I don't know how you sleep, but you're on the go constantly, and we're very proud of you. Thank you. All right, seeing no other comments, then we will adjourn this meeting at 6:53 to Thursday, November 2nd. And thank you very much, and we'll see you at the art events. Thank you.